National Institute of Technology, Bhopal. His specialization is in power quality monitoring, solar PV systems, analog and digital electronics, machine learning. He has published several research papers in international referred journals and international conferences. He has also guided more than 12 MTech theses and around 20 UG projects. He is also a reviewer of many IEEE conferences. We are happy to have you, sir, with us. Now I request sir to please start with the session.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be here, uh, giving the time, sharing with you, and we'll start with very obvious things. I shall start with the PPTs. Okay, as we know that the IoT or the Internet of Things are the hot topic nowadays, and since it's been started from the long back from 2010 and so on, so its importance is now increasing day by day as we are curious towards the smart environment and the smart city concept and the further advancement in the power electronic systems. So we'll just deal in this session all about the basic structure of IoT and its power scenario, impact, and the technical embedment of this particular system on the hardware level. And I would like to discuss some part where we will just touch up the solar PV system monitoring also, so that we can do some practical example while doing over that. Okay, so let's start with this topic, IoT and its application in power electronics. Basically, in the power electronics, I have chosen that PV systems, so that would be the ideal case for the renewable energy systems. So we'll taken upon it. Okay, so these are my contents while we will discuss about the session. First is the Internet of Things, IoT in power sector, IoT in hardware enabled technologies, technical challenges of the IoT, and IoT in the solar PV systems. As I continuously observing that Internet of Things and the other aspects as the industrial aspects, or you can say the other renewable aspects in the smart grid, we have seen that there are many aspects over there which already been talked about in previous lectures. So I would like to give the glimpse of it, why this is important nowadays, because due to the climatic change and the power scenario is continuously changing, so it is very important to have to adopt the sustainable growth in and the policies, as continuously in our country also we are sustainable energy is taking part of improving the GDP and our per capita income of our country as regard. So more and more focus is now on the renewable energy, and the renewable energy can be made it smart by using the IoT, or you can say the Internet of Things. So here the target for the renewable energy is 450 gigawatt up to 2030, and we have shared our wind and solar energy part at 10% of total installed capacity and 9% of total installed capacity in the solar PV system. So we can say that if we are enabling with the IoT or making it more smart grid system or other systems, so that would be more and more comprehensively increase in all aspects. Okay. So here we'll just take a few things, basics of the Internet of Things, then we'll move toward the power sectors and their importance. So first of all, as you all know that it is a very nowadays it is a very common aspect, is the Internet of Things very popular, as we know that the Internet of Things is based on the system, proposed the system which is interconnected computing devices, physical devices, and the unique identifiers. So you can say that basically in IoT systems, sensors are involved, which will basically sense like temperature, humidity, voltage, current, pressure, whatever the sensing elements are there, we just sense them or actuate them. Then we will process for further digital processing, and by using the gateways or interconnections, we will send it to the cloud, and from that cloud we are able to retrieve as for the application. Okay, so there are the three layers you can say. First is the sensing, second is the intermediate, or you can say the gateway, and third one is the application layer. So the embedded, all the electronic software, sensors, actuators, and network connectivity altogether is known as our IoT system. So here main objective is that to collect the data, to analyze the data, to recreate the data, and to handle the data as per the consumer's demand. So ultimately the consumers set the objectives, or they want the controllability or they want the service of it. So according to that, the application part is distinguished from each other. Main thing is data handling. Whatever the data we have got from the actuators or the primary layers, how they been utilized by the end user or the customer. The customer may be the industry, the home appliances, maybe any commercial city, or any physical appearance, or the to improve the quality there may be some parameters. So you can say the end user utilize the IoT techniques for the further improvement and being the fast and reliable techniques. So basically the Internet of Things enabling, as we say that things means our sensors which belongs to in daily life routine. We observe the actuators, they are the things, devices, maybe laptop, printer, light, fan, bike, motor, roads, means they are the things, and we'll have to interact. We are the people, will have to interact. And how will we interact? We will interact through the cloud services, or you can say the software platform, where the data is stored and they can be utilized as per the desired operation of the people. They fulfill all the needs of the people by either the services, either the control, either the analysis. So the things are there. You can say, see this triangle, that is the main communication between the people, things, and cloud. So that is the main structure of the Internet of Things, where the application is a two-way, then software platforms and the enabling technologies. So here they are just modify themselves time to time, that how this is important, that is a two-way communication by the improvement of that particular lifestyle also, and improvement of that particular system which is providing the services. So main the application part and the software platform, IoT software platform, and enable technologies, or you can say this is a hardware in the sense of the gateways, also in the sense of sensors also. And this is platform which is only the software base, or you say it is a cloud services. So it provides the software platform. And IoT application, maybe there are different application in like smart cities, transportation, healthcare, technologies, industry, energy management. Are there many more applications are there which evolve with the using of the IoT systems. So as we know that we have here over there the application part, and here the enabling technologies. So these clouds are having the different software platforms where they analyze the data provided by the gateways or the sensors, they store them and provide the proper solutions. So these are the some IoT platforms. Cumulocity IoT platform, Microsoft Azure is recently launched over there, Google Cloud Platform, AWS, Amazon Web Services, wireless services, and IoT platform, Cloud Cisco, and these are many more. So these are the top IoT softwares which is now popular. and the application domain. So the enabling sources and the IoT cloud, you can say that is a server base. So that is a cloud. So these were the platforms. Now the application domain. There are the application domains are as we have discussed earlier also that it's continuously increasing as per our demand and as per the requirement of the people, industry demand, or you can say the personal demand, or you can say the power sector. So it is a from past decades it is being changing as per the requirement, or it is updating itself. So we can observe in this timeline that particular in 2010s it was beginning of that particular, its main started in 2002, and that was sophisticated being utilized for the military purpose or for the security and the energy management systems, but that was further adopted by the other system also to improvise and having the more efficient way, because nowadays the internet is having its own advantages and having the more speed over the previous one. So we can just observe this application domain in 2010, the global addressing IPv6 standardization of interoperability, low power and thin batteries, cloud storage, security, radio frequency identifiers, and the cloud, smart sensor for the data, healthcare, data sensors, and the wireless sensor networks are the breed, and they were the evolved from that particular and make a perfect system for the IoT balancing. Further advancement in that in 2015 and onwards, we find that the smart antennas, RDMS security and privacy acknowledgement was provided over there, and further it is being implemented over the cloud computing as a service, and the energy harvesting was the main objective over there, and we were moved towards the collaboration with the IoT system with the energy systems and their analysis as an energy harvesting system with the intelligent, analytical and wireless power also. So in this particular regard, in industry ecosystem also involved and low cost SCADA system was evolved over there. And further in now situation, or you can say in present scenario, we observe that the energy harvesting and recycling, which with together we are talking about the environmental effects of the technology and the carbon footprint and ecology system also, as well as are technical. So here the large scale wireless sensor network is required, highly advanced security, deployment of and forget the network, because that must be automated. So we just set up the network and just forget, have a look over that particular. So this would be fix up your objectives and fulfill as per programming or as we have desired. And further, the self-adaptive systems are evolved in the present scenario, so that can sense and adopt itself, or you can say the self-healing techniques are also available, are working on it, so that particular area comes up to in this particular self-adaptive systems. And further is the cloud storage, computational online analysis, biodegradable materials and nano power units to support the sustainable energy, critical infrastructure monitoring, and smart grid households. So these are the sectors we recently we are working on it, and it's from the last 5 years to next 5 years that would be major concern. If you go beyond that particular talk about the 2025, you can say that in future, so there would be the smart tax logistics, vehicle management system, plug-in vehicles, grid to vehicle to grid system level analysis, autonomous vehicle systems, IoT services, heterogeneous system, interaction between the subsystem network, or you can say simply there we will find the machine to machine communication. They will take decision for themselves for the betterment of the people. means the people will not be involved over there. The machine will decide itself that what is better for this person. So this is called the machine to machine communication, and they will take the decision accordingly and putting the best results and best objectives options to customers. So there will be smart traffic, automatic driven vehicles, intelligent transportation system, very smart microgrid systems, and minimize optimal use of the sustainable energy would be the prime in the future. So these are the application domains. We can just observe that it has covered up the home or personal, enterprises, utility, transportation, and plug and play smart objectives. So these are the basic timeline which is been followed by the previous also, and will make up in the future also. So another is our as we are the electrical engineers, so we concerned about the power sector. So in the power sectors also we have divided this particular IoT internet network system in particularly broad areas like wide area network, neighbor area network, and home area network. So how the power flow is there? As we know, as our classical model, we know that was the generation, transmission, and distribution, and the consumer end. But nowadays, what is happening in IoT scenario, the power system scenario has been changed, and the generation to generation, they can communicate and provide the energy to the particular location, or you can say the idle is possible, and you can say this particular IoT has improvised the system during the fault condition or the normal behavior of the power system. So here you can just say that this wide area network and the neighborhood area network, and home network just classified as a consumer, so it would be come up in a home area network. So it is totally dependent on that, and particular smart meters or smart systems, or you can say the IoT technologies would be different for these sectors, because it has to deal with the shorter length of that communication, say for few meters. And while we discuss about the distribution system, so the gateway and the smart meters are must be installed in the far away, or you can say the 2.4 to 10 15 kilometers away from that particular. And interconnectivity are the protection of towers, and the protection and the management of the generating station can be smoothly done, or management with the prime optimal way in power system. So that would be quite helpful while using in the power sectors. Here next, so as earlier we said that in the power sector the energy management system is a major component. So in the energy management system, smart grid extend for the benefit of the smart grids with the automation and the monitoring and distribution system by the utility then itself. That means it is fully automatic system, and as of the IoT in the field of electrical energy uh, is includes this major advancement like advanced metering infrastructure, MI, SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition, smart inverters, a remote control operation of the energy consuming devices. So these are the major changes been involved while we use the IoT systems for the energy management. Further, in a maybe for the smart building systems, or maybe the smart industry, or maybe in the transmission system. So everywhere you can utilize that particular energy management system at optimal way if we introduce the IoT based systems. So as we talk about the architecture of the IoT, so here I have shown just the three-layer concept where you can just observe that perception layer, network layer, and application layer. It is very basic layer concept where we just deal with the sensor devices, their IoT protocols, and their application part. So here from the bottom you can start that the perception layer, that means the basic sensors which will sense you the data using the different sensors or the wire sensor network, RFID card, temperature sensor, pressure sensor, any kind of a sensor. So there's a lot sensors are there. So camera, audio sensors, and the smart devices may be the sensors. So these are the perception layer, or you can say that they are the basic sensor transducers. They fetch the information, or you can say they are the just input devices which just have the contact with our physical environment, and they just convert the physical environment or values to our electrical parameters so that they can process, or you can say that they are the pre-processing mode. Afterwards, then once we get in a digital form, there are the different gateways are provided. So here the gateways noted as enterprises gateway, access gateway, home gateway. So these are the based on the different technologies where these gateways are involved over there, and how will we proceed for the network layer. Our network layer, or you can say that is a IoT platform. Okay, so earlier we were having the private optical network, PLC network, internet. So these are different networks on which we can implement our gateways or give the information to them for further analysis and the further application of it. And the last one is this particular application layer. So here the smart home, smart transmission, smart transportation, smart electricity, smart electrical vehicle, smart roads, smart hospitals, or any convenience object which will fall into this particular application layer. So here the content of management, acquirement, modeling, web services, and the directly services will be provided in this particular layer to be feed on for the consumer. So how the end user get benefit by the analysis of the application layer. As we concern about what are the different enabling technologies, okay, so we must know that what are the trends going on and how their advantages or disadvantages, and which applicable for which system. So some smart grid application area also we can just observe where it can be used, and the data rate and the coverage range. Coverage range means the distance they cover while we just implement over in the system. So first protocol is the, so wireless technology we are familiar with that particular in our location, in our household. We say that okay, this is a router, okay, and mobile. So we just connect with the router with a multiple of 3 to 4 computers or the smartphones or any PC or any other devices to be directly controlled over there, or you can just utilize the same port for that one. So for this purpose we'll having the different protocols over there where it has been situated. So here I have taken just 5G, but instead of the 5G, some GSM modules, some 2G system, 3G system, ITLE and other systems are also available as a mobile system to be implemented as a IoT wireless technologies. So in this particular regard, it is basically used in mobile. So the advantages are low literacy and high reliability. It is availability is very high, high bandwidth, high speed, capability of handling large number of devices. Nowadays we can handle up more and more number of devices if come up with a 5G technology also. In very soon BSNL has a agree and to provide the 5G technology, and very soon we'll get the 5G technology also. And so the advantage would be the handling more number of the devices. As target is found that particularly to millions of the IoT devices has to be connected with the systems to make it more smooth and friendly and more robust one. So the technology will uplift itself and having the advantages over there by choosing the 5G technology over the previous generations. Disadvantage is low range, high infrastructure setup cost, security and privacy issue. And this applicability, this particularly can be used as a neighborhood area network and wide area network. And the smart grid application, it can be used in a distributed monitoring system and control. And the data rate is up to 20 gigabytes per second. So it is very high, but till date we are in India, we are unable to achieve this particular speed because we are not using the 5G up to 4G, we are using it. But once we get this 5G, we can use up to the 20 GB PS speed, and the coverage range is 10 to 100 meters depend upon the cell size. Another technology is the Z-Wave. There is no interface between the other technologies, very reliable, low latency and scalable. This disadvantage is only that not suitable for man, and when only one priority company are making chip for the shortage range. So this is particularly specified for the one application part. So that is domain is very specific and company wise they can select it and use it. So this is preferably for uses for the house area network. For the home automation, it gives a 100 kps data rate and range is 30 meters. Another technology is 6LoW PAN. Okay, it is a very low power, support large mesh of network topology and can be applied across the various communication system. So it can be further used for the short distance, or you can say that it ranges 10 to 100 meters. So that too is home automation is a very smart metering. It is very suitable for it. Only disadvantage is that it requires extensive training and the knowledge and short range of the data and very low data rate. Low range RA1, the low power range, no interface with the different data rates, enhancing gateway properties and creating virtual channels, low cost and secure bidirectional communication. So it is a more advantageous, and applicability is on the NAN also and WAN also. Neighborhood area network and wide area network. The management, particularly smart grid application or management operation, equipment, online monitoring of the power system and the transmission system lines and the towers. The data rate is 0.3 to 50 kbps and coverage is 2 to 5 kilometers for urban environment, and for the suburban environment it is 15 kilometers. And another popular protocol which is generally we use for the experimental purpose are the very home appliances and other environment, or smart metering or smart lighting system, because the advantage is the 16 channels are provided with 5 megahertz bandwidth in 2.4 2 gigahertz spectrum, low power uses, low complexity, and low deployment cost. Only thing is that disadvantage is low data rate, limited energy of battery, it consume more battery. Low processing capability and the short range. It is being used, applicability is HAN, energy monitoring, smart lighting and automation, and further use in meter reading. Range is 10 to 100 meters. Wire height. This particular technology uh, having the backward compatibility and reliability. These are main advantages. Disadvantage: low data rate, short range, lack of security. It is applicability as HAN and WAN. Smart meters, power generations are the major areas, and its data rate is 115 kbps and the coverage range is 200 meters. Another wireless technologies are we find in a inbuilt mobile phones also. That is one is the Bluetooth. Okay, so the Bluetooth is a very common one. Here we use the advantage is low power consumption, low but data is disadvantage the low data rate, short range, weak security, prone to interface from IEEE 80.11. Applicability HAN. So home automation is better suited this, and data rate is 721 kbps and coverage is 1 to 100 meters. Another advanced the Bluetooth version is Bluetooth low energy, BLE. So ultra low power consumption, low cost, low complexity. So short range handling and handling power amount of data, and the high setup time is the main disadvantage of it, and it is mainly suitable for home automation. So data rate is very low, but it is capable to use as an ultra low power consumption, and range is 1 to 5 to 10 meters. Another wireless technology is broadly used as narrowband IoT. So there is a NB IoT, crowd free, unlicensed band, ultra low power consumption, low power, low cost, low complexity, and only thing is that disadvantage latency. Applicability is HAN and NAN. Here smart grid applications, home automation, and AMI, automatic meter reading, in the concept of it, and data rate is range from 250 kbps for uplinking and for 230 kbps for downlink, and it can work or coverage very higher distance up to the 30 kilometers. So this particular is basically used for the transmission tower interfacing, like you can say the neighborhood area network and home automation. So these are the enabling technologies which are being utilized in present scenario. So these are the brief of the technologies, and the suitability are on the base of the advantages and disadvantages. We can conclude that which technology is betterly suited while we implement it, and where is the work place where we are using this technology as a for the IoT upliftment or the betterment of our existing system. So here enabling process and different layer perspectives. Now we have added one more layer as a processing unit, or you can say that before the application unit we just process the data, that how it would be utilized. So in a broad sense, our advancement of the IoT from 3 layer to 4 layer, if we are considering it for the smart cities, so the data processing or that particular layer will make up the service we are providing to our suburban areas, or the smart city transportation, healthcare system, or the interconnectivity of that system, transportation, or other things. So that would be the managerial part will be processed by this particular data processing layer. Okay, so here also we have just divided into 4 layers like sensors, gateway, processing unit, and application. Only thing is that earlier we have merged this processing unit with the application part and this gateway with the cloud one. So this particular we can say that this processing unit can be take it as an external way as a implementation or analytical part, either the management aspect of that particular data processing. Okay, so in this way we can just subdivide into 4 layers like sensing layer, network layer, data processing layer, and the application layer. So for the case of the smart cities or smart industries also, we use the 4 layer concept, and accordingly we choose our gateways or we can say the IoT platforms for the implementation part of it. Further observation is that there are many more challenges while we deploy our IoT system. In this particular regard, we will just observe that it depends on the particular communication technologies what we are using. So some that particularly technologies we are using, they are scalable or not, the technological standardizations and interoperability. Or modules. So that depends on which type of communication technologies we are using it and how they are beneficial for us or not, and what the upgradations are needed. So these are the challenges we continuously facing while using the IoT based system, because it is the combination of the sensor based network also, then gateways, then IoT platforms, and the application, along with the management, the data management. Okay, so here lot of things are involved over there, which makes it very challenging to work on it and for further research. So these are the further related areas where things are more and more focused on. So as earlier we have discussed that the different wireless communication systems, like here in this particular points we have just talking about the scalability or standardization or discovery in particular, because in every 6 months the technology changes or upgradation versions are available over there. So how we just get it off and be more and more focused over there. So as the pinpointing of this particular regard, we can just observe scalability and observability of this particular, that how this can be scalability, that means how it can be expand for the particular application to application, and how that would be the robust and final version we can get it by the evolution of the IoT system. Because in the IoT systems also we observe that here the technology standards are not matured as we required, are in the sense of the security. We just say that okay, some protocols are available freely, but they are not much secure over there. Encryptions are the security measures are not as standardized as required. So there are some loopholes are also there. So intrusions and the theft and the other things are possible while we use the device with the open source adaptation methods. So requirement of technical standardization is always been in a priority for the sake of the security. And the interoperability, that means the sensors and or you can say the this particular term we can observe while we use the machine to machine learning, or they can deal up with the one IoT system to another IoT system, then they can just instruct them to do that particular task and how they respond. So for that purpose also the high speed internet connectivity is responsible for that, and that can be observed the interoperability in a best suited if the conditions are well, or if you say that the connection is secured and having the high speed. So this comes up as a challenge of the IoT. And discovery. Discovery means now you find that every big company is having their own IoT platform, and they discover or launch the different platforms over there, and they suited that more secure, more better, and likewise. So discovery in all the way, in particularly in this area when upgradations are needed, or because the online systems always been threatened up by the outer source, so the discoveries and the new patents or availability or new ideas are always being considered as a challenges. And software complexity, and as we know that evolution from this particular is basically fetch with that particular sensors to gateway and gateway to your software platform, which is it as a cloud system. So this in this particular cloud system also their complexity is more, so that must be some measures to be taken to be more simpler and user friendly while designing or implementing by the end user. Next is the data volume and the interpretation. Data volume, or you can say the it is dealing every day there are billions of the data which is being uploaded, downloaded, or making analysis or interpretation work. So there may be, or you can say there is a big opportunity in big data sector where dealing optimization, you can say the classification, forecasting, data handling in the scenario of the big data management. So that is the another area where you can work on while you dealing with the challenges of the IoT. Another is a power system. Power system for this particular IoT system designing. So there is the interrupted power system must be always available while you are dealing with the your household application or hand network or pen network. So the low power consumption for any gateways as prime requirement with the efficient work of over there. So continuously working on that power supplies being utilized. That's why main focus of the IoT is integrated with the energy harvesting. So piezoelectric materials, TEGs, thermoelectric generators, pressure, piezoelectric materials, are the sustainable nanotubes, are the solar PV technologies, and other newer technologies are being implemented to reduce down the power requirement of that IoT based system. So that can be they can be the independent one and self-sustained capability with regard to the power supply and energy requirement. So the low power consumption, compactness will be main factor while we discuss about this particular power supply. So in this particular case, the high charge capacitors along with the new energy harvesting systems are very beneficial. Another part is the interaction and short range communication. As earlier we have discussed that various technologies for the communication, so the interaction and the short range communication, so some of the technologies we have seen that they are using the 35 kilometers also, and some of them are using from 2 meters to 10 meters also. And interaction with the proper quality and with the secured access and all the benefits of the IoT environment. So this particular short range communication and interaction between the two IoT based system is again challenging in case of the IoT evolution. So that may be one area while we discuss about that short range compatibility and the interaction between the two modules, or you can say the two IoT based systems. And earlier we have discussed the communication. So communication systems, generally we have that particular identifiers, that RFID cards, or the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the IPv LAN, or that particular LTE. So these are the basic identifier or basic communication enables, so that we can already patch up with that particular interfacing between the gateway and the cloud system. So these wireless communication system is again challenging. Which type of communication systems or gateways or protocols we should utilize to make it more beneficially. And again, this is a challenging one for IoT technology aspects. Another one is the fault tolerance. Okay, so fault tolerance in sense of robustness, you can say that how your system is so robust that because it can utilize, our IoT systems are built in for using the various climatic conditions, the hot, cold, misty, rainy, or any kind of the climatic seasons. So there is a chance of the fault. So your system must be in such a way that it must be a fault tolerance, or you can say the somewhat the self-healing properties also. So it can tolerate tolerate the faults. Another is self-healing for upgraded one itself, and hardware also in such a way that it can tolerate the faults or provide the subways to make it operative. So there is another area well can worthy to focus on and standardize this particular. So robustness is a main dealing while we discuss about this particular fault tolerance as a challenge for the IoT applications. Further, it is an ideal ubiquitous energy graph is provided or accepted by as a research area, because in this particular we consider all the aspects of the IoT along with the sustainability and the environmental preferences also. So here 4 ways of this description is provided as a ubiquitous energy. So main parameters or main terms of this particular is columns of this particular: affordability, accessibility, acceptability, adequacy. And this how this particular can be achieved, that like affordability means that particular with a low cost must be available at the high efficiency. Accessibility, that means good availability. So these particular constants we are talking about for the energy constants are the renewable energy or sustainable energy involved in a power system and why we are moving towards the smart system along with the renewable energy. So this is capable to provide the ubiquitous energy system by using the IoT based system, or you can say the wireless systems. So accessibility, good availability, extended territorial coverage. So this is accessibility. Acceptability means the efficient energy supply capacity in both quantity and quality with positive human impact. That means one uh, criteria we always miss up is a positive human impact. So human behavior, human situation are condition, heritage, and other aspects, how the positive human impact over there. So equivalent, this energy concept is providing the acceptability by the human nature, or that must be positive for the behavior or the environmental as well. Only we can say that it is a ubiquitous energy system. And last is particularly adequacy, the perfect match between the demand and supply. So when we talk about the energy balance, so we always talk about the balancing between the demand and supply, and there must be a perfect match. So this because ubiquitous energy perspective, which is nowadays very popular in the case of wind energy, also in the case of the solar PV systems also, while we deal with the sustainable energy. So this particular format is coming up as a new concept, and you can work on it also. And but while we observe that uh, when we implement the IoT systems, so this particular criticism and controversies of IoTs always find together. You can say the that were the challenges, but these are uh, actual work when we implement. Then this type of things or aspects automatically come into our mind, that how it is reliable one to to be trust over there, because the security and privacy and other things are based on the trust, because many more unsecure are the platforms or free protocols are available over there. So there is a always been a threat of the introduction of that particular boundaries over there and not play safe like. So sometime it happens that some criticism and controversies always been there with this ubiquitous computing revolution in the particular area of privacy, security, autonomy and control, because privacy are always been you nowadays we are, that is very popular that bigger companies is also storing their data and selling to other one. That's why in recent time also some very basic apps were banned in India, Chinese apps, because they were just stealing our information and selling to other resources for their own use. So our privacy and our security on the stack. So this will come up while we just say this ubiquitous computing revolution is all required over there. So autonomy and the control. The autonomy and control is also doubtful while we use a IoT based system, and further more and more work is be done in this particular field for the perfect control over here. And social control. Social control is another aspect. So while it is being used with the open source or some fitted media also, and that particular IoT based platform, so the social control is another aspect. So always been criticized by the socialist also, that social control is not provided or the over manipulated while the social control. Political manipulation. So sometimes it happens that data and requirement is more political and manipulated as per their tenure. So it also affect the IoT system, the backbone, their operation. And another is a design. While we design our so as we know that it's combination of hardware, software, computing, and the application environment. So design always is always the in the controversial part or in the challenging one. So that particular and environmental impact. So as we are dealing with the Silicon Valley, you can dealing with the power controllers along with the computer systems and IoT designing. So environmental impact as we move on IoT based systems, or so we observe that definitely that would be the harmful impact on the environment. And last one is the influence the human mortal decision making, because IoT or machine to machine communication is basically done by all the decision by the machine itself, by taking the observation from the sensing the information from the machines. So sometime if it is fully automated or there is no control of human being, so maybe some wrong decision may be enhanced by themselves also, or sometime happens in vice versa also, like human influence the moral decisions making, and this particular regard that okay machine is taking decision and influenced by the human moral decision making. So that the controversies in this particular regard, the decision taken by the machine and decision taken by the human values, the moral values. Okay, so the machines are unable to understand the moral values, and they are unable to take decision accordingly. So there is some scholars and social observers, they just have the negative thinking as per the IoT based systems, that it is not fully reliable and we fully implemented or rely on that particular. So these are the main constants while we were using the IoT based systems. So this is particularly we have discussed some basic structure of the IoT, their power scenario, their application layers, enabling technologies, some challenges, and the artifact of it, and novel areas where we can focus on while we are working on IoT. Okay, till here any queries are there? So in between also we can just talk if you want, because further I will move to the some application part of it, like using the solar PV monitoring, okay, in IoT based system. So that is a prototype of it, that is a low cost model, or you can say the low cost practical implementation of it to get the information from the cloud and retrieve that information to make our system efficient. So till point it is okay, or any point if you are stucking over there, so you can just ask me. Either we will take up in the last 10 minutes as organizers say. Is it okay for, or should I move our next slide? Or any participant, if you want any clarification in this regard and any slides, so you can just we can discuss it also. Or further I am moving towards the main application in solar PV systems and their monitoring. Is it okay?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. Sir,
Yeah.
can we take one question?
Yeah, for this section you can take the question, and further I have the grid connected PVC system also. If I complete this one, then also we can just have the question session.
Yes.
as you want.
Sir, one of our participant is interested in understanding actually concept of cloud computing. So whenever we are saving some data on drive, what
Yeah.
actually happens? So she is interested in that. She has asked that question.
Okay, okay. So just move on this that slide.
Yeah.
On which part? And data technologies are cloud.
Yes, yes. So she wants to understand what exactly happens. Means what is the concept of cloud computing? Every time we are saying the data is being saved on cloud. So what
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
exact? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then this particular architecture of IoT, we just say that okay, the perception layers is taking the all the information as a raw input. Okay, from this raw input, it is converting into our electrical signal, and electrical signals just converted them into the your digital form. Okay, from this digital form, it is now able to communicate with the higher level, or you can say the accessible by the gateways. So gateways here, in the gateways, uh, you can just observe the gateway or the hardware. So you are mostly familiar with the some different gateways like our router. Okay, Wi-Fi router, our routers. In between, what we are placing over there, we are placing either our prototype uh, enabled devices like your sensor enabled. If you go through the practical information, if some students or some faculty have worked on the MCU node. Okay, MCU node, that means that is a direct hardware Arduino base. It is providing the sensor node itself and having the gateway. That means it can sense and directly send the data by the protocol to the cloud. In that cloud, what is happening actually, they are storing that data in series or parallel mode. So they are in Excel file or CVC file, they store the data on cloud. Okay, and the that channel is specified for of it, and that channel specified is located on the cloud is a main web based service station. Like you can say that MATLAB is also having its own free charge free, means freely available cloud. It is ThinkSpeak. If you just send the information over there, store over there in ThinkSpeed, it will store the data in form of Excel. Okay, in series form. So that Excel data can be retrieved from any other channel, or with your laptop or with your mobile phone, by giving the same data coding or the key password. You can enable to retrieve those information or those Excel sheet directly. So in this way, you can just say that you are deploying your information or your data in cloud in form of Excel sheet. Okay, they are having the Excel sheet of different channels. Okay, this is the temperature measurement. Okay, this is the power measurement, current measurement. So they will store in Excel format, either in series mode or in the parallel operation. Okay, so the Excel sheet, virtual Excel sheet is available over there in cloud, and data is stored over there. So whenever the application layer, they want to retrieve that data, they can retrieve and management it, acquire that one, analysis, or they can control it by those data by signaling back. Means that is a two-way communication. So the sensors are having the parallel network system also, which is the transmission and receivers and also. Okay, if you want to control those data instead of the monitoring only, so you can just control the sensing data, but you'll have to have deal with the intermediate cloud is that you can say the that is storing stage where the data is stored over there. You can fetch the data, you can deal the data and make the decision also. So at this particular cloud, you are dumping your information and you are playing your information with that, with the programmings. Okay, so now it is clear that what we do on cloud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any query, any part? So it is a two-way communication. We can just talk any at any point, because it is very necessary to clear all the concept while we were dealing, isn't it? So any student can raise hand and just ask the question. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Because
sir. There is no further query now. We can proceed further.
yeah. So now we proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as per requirement, any wireless technology will have to choose. So these are using as a gateways. Okay, so here sensor layer, gateways you can say the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, any enabled technology. And here we have included the cloud also, but this cloud would be at the IoT platform. Okay, and data processing and the application layer. So okay, so now we are just talking about the how we will just have the implementation of the IoT system on the various places or various points of the solar PV system, either it is grid connected or standalone. Okay, so we are very familiar with the this basic structure, grid connected power system. Okay, here always we are having the solar PV array with appropriate connection. So the in the solar PV array also one M1, so one monitoring system is provided over there. So this monitoring system or M1 may be specified as this particular is observing the physical condition of this PV array. Okay, so this particular M1 having the set of monitoring elements which is continuously monitoring the temperature, the humidity, the physical condition of it, or any partial shading. Okay, so that monitoring aspect can be observed over there, and we can have one IoT based system or one sensor node over here, or you can say the multiple sensor nodes, so to observe the actual condition of the PV array, like some cracks are there, some partial shading due to the any building or any tree or other panels itself. So that is the condition of the partial shading due to which your maximum output is not coming over there. So that is the one M1 point or the monitoring point at which we can situate one IoT based system to monitor the physical condition. And along with that, we can just observe the power by taking the values of the voltage and current. So at that instant level, or you can say the solar PV array monitoring system first observe the physical condition of this particular solar panel, that is either the monocrystalline or polycrystalline. Second thing is there dust is there. Third, you can observe that any partial shading. Fourth, you can set okay, any default fault is there, any their diodes are situated in well manner, the protection diodes, either the blocking diode or the series diode, they are actual situated in a correct position or not. So these can be monitored as this M1. So we assume that we have taken up the monitoring IoT system over there for monitoring the physical, mechanical and electrical system at this point. So that can be individually behave as a one sensor network which is giving you the data of mechanical, electrical and environmental parameter. Okay, so that is one aspect of IoT. You can monitor at M1. Second one, while we know that this is a DC to DC converter, fixed value of this solar array, or you can say the particular set of modules. So we are having another box, it is MPPT and DC to DC converter box. MPPT and DC DC converter box we have just added over there. Only DC DC converter is not sufficient. For that, some
Hello.
Hello, sir. Uh, Hello, sir. I think we lost your voice. We are not able to hear you. We lost your voice from the last 1 minute.
Participants, please keep some patience. I guess sir has some network issue. He will join shortly.
Participants are requested to stay with us. Maybe sir is having the network issue. If he get logged out, so he will join soon. Wait for some minutes.
Should we leave now?
Yes.
Should we leave now?
No, no, sir. Just wait for a minute. Sir is joining back.
Okay.
there was some problem.
Yes, sir. Now you are audible, sir.
Yeah, actually there was a suddenly the network was gone. There was some network. I'm just seeing the screen again. Yeah. Now it is clear.
Your voice is somewhat
Yeah.
breaking.
Yeah.
I think there will be network issue at your side, so that we are not receiving your voice clearly. It is breaking in between. Sir, can you one more time rejoin again, leave and just join again?
Hello, are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Now we are getting you.
Yeah, actually some network problem is there.
Yeah, just share your screen, please.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Make it presentation mode only. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we were discussing the various IoT nodes as a monitoring scheme we have used on a different points like M1, M2, M3 and M4. First we have taken as M4 for physical, electrical and mechanical parameters we are taken up by the PV array. Second one is M2 is monitoring unit we have taken up as a IoT system for taking the information from this MPPT system and DC to DC converter. Okay, and third portion is the DC to AC converter where inverters are involved and how much the power delivered and what is the wave shape of it we can just monitor by using this monitor number 3 IoT based monitor, which is directly calculating or observing or monitoring the waves, or you can say the supply voltage waveform shape and frequency. And furthermore, PCC is their point of common coupling. At that point of common coupling we can have the information of the voltage and current in such a way that it deals with the various faulty condition if occurs, then what would be the behavior of it? If you are taking up the load also, then what would be the behavior of it? Means you can say that at the PCC level we can just check out the quality, and or the simple way you can say that power quality monitoring node you can assign this M4. So in this way we can just deal with having the different nodes, IoT nodes for the different measurements of the grid connected PV system. Okay, so that would be the one utilization of IoT system which we can develop our emphasis on. Here I would like to show some basic concept of the solar PV system. As we know that this is the basic structure: PV array, DC to DC converter, DC to AC converter, or you can say the inverter, isolation transformer, and the grid. And second mode may be our standalone system where this is a remotely located area or any pump house in any farm or any individual power producer by any factory, industry, or any farms or any remote area location, any village. There we have the standalone system, and there also we can propose the IoT based system with having the 4 monitoring system at the various stages. Only thing is that it is not connected with the grid, so the reflection of the grid will not come up at the PCC. So but the non-linear load will always affect by this PCC, and if you are using the any motor or generator or any kind of that particular load which is dealing with the low power quality or affect adversely the power quality issues. So there are the standalone system also we can propose the IoT monitoring systems. So basically the monitoring system of solar PV system we can just analyze. This is the solar based system where we are using the wired lookup of the base monitoring, having the only the two major sensors like temperature sensor and the irradiation sensor, and it will give you the data to the monitoring data collector. So this may be the either the physically, or it is connected with the router or IoT enabled. So this particular IoT enabled, the temperature data and the irradiation meter data is directly sent to the inverter. So this particular inverter will set the constants or change the capability of the DC to DC converter, so that can be optimally use it for giving the output. And further, that system is look up the high voltage grid to make it supply. And another set of the information which is gathering at the monitoring data collector is go to the computer, and computer there is some data analysis, and from the network it can be transmitted to another telecomputer at the operating systems, where it may be monitored and the analyzed at the remote area. So basic problem on the monitoring is being occurred, or you can say the faulty conditions, where we say that there is some partial shading, or out of these three arrays, one is partially shaded. If this is partially shaded, that means in the combined box, or either it will be destroy itself or having the low power setup over there. Either in this particular modules, some of the cells may damage due to the partial shading, and partial shading is the phenomena where you can find that the hot spot fault occurs over there due to the excessive heat, because we know that this is a semiconductor device. If any cell is not working properly or partially shaded, that means excessive heat will be generated, and due to the excessive heat there will be the reverse current is generated, and this reverse saturated current, again the heat is increasing. So there is a thermal runaway. If the thermal runaway takes place, so that destroyed the cell permanently. So if you find out the PV curve of the any particular cell, or you can say the particular array which is meant for retrieve the power, say we were taking this is in watts, in 900 watts, and here we are taking max up to the 200 volts. So for the array, so for these two curves we can just observe that if your solar array, as we have discussed previously, if it is uniform condition, or having no partial shading, or no any faulty tree, or any kind of shading is over there, so that would be perfect curve would be there. Otherwise there is maybe chance of there is a local maxima. So if you can observe that clearly, if we see that this one blue line and upper one is a black line, so this black line is showing the perfect or uniform condition, where your condition is that power of irradiation at the standard test condition, like 1000 watt per meter square, at which you are getting the maximum output. Okay, but if any portion, or you can say some cells are partially shaded, so it will not give you the peak at a one peak, it will give the multiple peaks. So global maximum power point is unable to retrieve these peaks, because always for the maximum power point one peak is essential for optimize it to make it maximum power point. But here in case of the partial shading, there may be chance for the multiple peaks. Okay, so here the global maximum point is unable to reach that point, and so we found the local maximum point. So in case of the global maxima and local maximum, so traditionally two types or three types of peaks are available. So this particular we can say the global MPPT, and this is a local MPPT, means two MPPTs are available. And for this particular case, local or traditional methods are not feasible for look after this or track this one. So the advanced versions, or you can say the ANN based or adaptive control based or other methods are useful to track over this. And our traditional methods like PNO method or the incremental conductance methods are not sufficient for to achieve the maximum power point for this condition. So as brief, you know that the simple PNO method and incremental conductance methods, and this is the resultant. If you have this type of curve, that means there is sudden dip of power. That means steep of the current, only the power is resuming down. So there is unbalancing of the voltage and current, due to which hotspot is created. So that is the one example of hotspot where complete this cell is burned out, because one is partially shaded, and this partially shaded, that means that is not the path for the flowing the current, but others are generating nearby cells are generating voltage. So what will they do? They will do the excessive current flow in the partial shaded cell itself, and that can destroy itself, because that is a source of current, but at that partial shading instant, it is supply current is lesser. So that is a one fault occur. There are maybe faults occurs in the solar PV system. So that is a one example hotspot. So there is a conventional method which being utilized for the MPPT control and having the various sensor nodes. So these are the sensors for sensing the voltage and current. So these are the sensors which is connected in series with the solar cells. These are the current sensors, and another sensors which are involved after the DC. So these are the voltage sensors. So these voltage sensor and current sensors are basically involved over there to improvise the MPPT controller, or having the basic control system design for the MPPT controller. So this basically the MPPT controller provides the gating pulse to the DC converter to act or optimize our voltage profile and current profile, and altogether the power profile to get the maximum power point. So this basic I think you must have been a lot familiar with the basic flow chart of the PNO method, like sample the PV, calculation of power and voltage, and just comparison of these power and voltage as per the instant it is increasing or decreasing. So it just perturb and observe that what is the condition at that instant of that one, that for the small change in power, what is the change in the voltage. Okay, so once it just observe the voltage and small increment over the power, so it continuously track up to the maximum point, and after the maximum point it again take it back by observing the optimal power and voltage, otherwise it will decrease the PWM signals. So two conditions are there. If it is more than the pre-specified value, then it will be increase the PWM, pulse width modulation, otherwise it will decrease. So every instant of upliftment of that particular curve, it will just count it down, and as per the desire it provides the pulse width modulation for triggering the DC to DC converter, and in this way we can achieve the perturb and observe method at the MPP, maximum power point. Second classical method is the incremental conductance method. So basically it observes the voltage, and after measuring the voltage, it just measure the DI by dV. Okay, so this ratio it is just observed for particularly, and measurement of it compares with the previous value, okay, increment of di by dt plus original IV by I by V, and it compares with either 0, more than 0, equal to 0, and less than 0, and accordingly it check up the duty cycle and converts it for the pulse, and these pulse are again fed to the DC converter to get it maximum output or MPPT, maximum power point. So these are some comparison or some methods. So here simple these methods are compared over there, like PNO method, fuzzy incremental conduction neural network, VMPP, CMPP. So voltage and current, and here neural network based. So these sensors are required for that. Voltage sensor, it depends at either current or voltage, and for the incremental conductance. So this particularly when we observe that efficiency in case of the PNO method is very high, very fast, and complexity is medium. But only thing is that there is a only problem is the fluctuation. The maximum point is oscillate. For to reduce down that particular, we club the PNO method with another method to rectify our more robust. So the fuzzy logic method is incorporated with the PNO method, and that makes it efficiency higher by using that particular. And incremental conductance is a possibility that there is no oscillation, constant variation is there, and complexity is medium, and efficiency is very high. Further, neural network depends on the sensor depends that okay, either the voltage or current, it is convergence is fast, complexity is high, and this particularly efficiency is also very high when we club with the PNO method. And the other method where the voltage and current are sensors, so the convergence is medium, and it is a not for the advice because the efficiency is very low. So if we club with the intelligent systems like fuzzy logic or neural network or any smart systems, so that is very much useful for evolving for the participating condition also. Simple PNO method and incremental conditioning methods or classical methods are not well suited for it. So here also we can just implement IoT based system, so fast interchange of information and gathering information for making the MPPT system more robust. So there are first some experimental setup was developed to just illustrate the UGPG students that how we can utilize the solar panels and some basic source of the IoT modules, so we can retrieve the basic infrastructure over there for making understand or simplify the complex operation of the IoT system. So in this particular regard, we have just taken up the 10 kilowatt system. Individual is a 10 kilowatt system. Okay, so here you are clearly observe that for the experimental set we have taken two different type of solar cells. Like this was the blue one is the polycrystalline type. This is the polycrystalline type, and this dark blue are having the curved edges. This is the monocrystalline. So it is a very known observation that by the color also and by the structure also you can just identify either it is a monocrystalline or polycrystalline type of solar cell. Okay, so this black type and curved edges is a monocrystalline, this blue shape is a polycrystalline. Efficiency of this monocrystalline is very high, around 15%, and this particular is low, around 11%. Okay, so this was a experimental setup for retrieving the voltage curve, or you can say the power curve. So here we have just used the one observation is physically we have connected a load, and another observation by using the sensors like voltage sensor and current sensor and temperature sensor, we have just connected it with the MCU node. MCU node is an Arduino based sensor. There you can directly connect your temperature sensor or voltage sensor or current sensor, and the information directly feed to the cloud. So it is MCU node. It's a very low cost uh, IoT supportive element, which is comes in around 500 rupees. Okay, so you can just have it, and by the simple programming on Arduino interface system, and using the ThinkSpeed cloud, which is a open source cloud available by the MATLAB and easily available on, you can just type on Google and you make an account of the MATLAB account, so you can access the data, you can uploading on the cloud and retrieving again. Okay, so the ThinkSpeak is used over there to get the data, and the base model of this particular system was introduced in this just flow chart, like PV system hardware where PV array was there, sensor network like LM35, it is your current sensor, there is a voltage sensor and etc. Different sensors can be utilized as a sensor network, and IoT edge gate. So in the particularly edge gate, we can use the different protocols, Wi-Fi modules or different LR systems. So here we have used the Wi-Fi, and this Wi-Fi is connected with our module, which is connected with the sensor module. The sensor module is connected with the MCU node. So this MCU node is directly feeding and acting as a gateway, and this gateway, it is uploading the data to the internet cloud, and this internet cloud we have used the ThinkSpeak software platform at which we have placed the data, and from the remote area or any mobile or any computer setup where we are having the internet connection, we can just observe those data for our calculation purpose or other information. So these are the just observation by this meter using the Mecometer of the power curve. This green one is a power curve and this red one is a voltage curve, which we have observed for the different conditions like normal condition, partial shaded condition, or the dust accumulated condition. So obviously the wave shape of these different waveforms are changing accordingly as the partial shading or normal condition or other situations are there. So we have just observed on them also, and we can send these data also to our cloud for the more observation. And for the testing purpose, we have observed the temperature and other parameters to be float on the ThinkSpeak software. To get the data like this. So these are software thinkspeak.com, and they provide the channel and they provide the key, and you have to that inbuilt key you have to put up on your Arduino based EDA software programming. So you just address the key over there also, and once you open on the internet the thinkspeak.com, so they will provide the channel and password, you will feed it there, and you can get the information directly on any laptop or mobile phone. So this was a sample data of temperature of daytime in the particular date, that was the timing, that 10:40, 45, 10:50, that slight change in particular data. So they stored in a particular set of our requirement, like interval of 10 minutes, interval of 15 minutes, 10, or as per we can set over there. So how we'll have to collect those data, and there is an output form of the solar PV monitoring test, which we have observed, and you can set up this particular and get the experience of the IoT in actual form in a very low cost manner. Means you can just have within 1000 you can design your own IoT based system monitoring having the multiple channels. Here I have just taken up the example of temperature only. And this particular monitoring system evaluation, why this monitoring system what do means, so in any monitoring system, if you evolve for fault detection method or power quality monitoring or IoT based monitoring of any power station, so these this is very basic model by which you can just observe that what the monitoring system is do. So just having the pre-processing where we are having the sensors. After that, the sensors we are feature extractions, means those are in form of curve and other forms which we have to have in Excel form, and afterwards we'll have to classify it. So whatever the data we are pre-processing, we'll have to quantify it, then further classify it using the knowledge base or rule base. So here the expert system will be utilized are the various classifier like support vector machine, Bayesian classifier or other classifiers will be utilized over there. Then further the pattern recognition, or that is a decision making process, that what will you do of that data, means either analysis only, either you will control, either you make it for the further forecasting. So this is a very a generalized way how you will deal with that particular data which you have observed by the IoT devices. So IoT devices, simply you can say that you will place over there where the pre-processing and feature extraction and other classification and decision making you can do afterwards. After getting collected those data in your computer or mobile, you can just rigorously analyze those data for further application. So at the user end or the application end, you can utilize accordingly. So this was the brief overview of the IoT system and some live example of gathering the information from a simple PV system which we have developed in our lab. So which is very low cost system. You can modify it again also by taking up the more robust like Pi based or other gateways or AOS systems and other system you can utilize to make it more robust and competitive. But for the low cost module, you can go for the Arduino based or Raspberry Pi based or any other simple hardware you can take up as a processor, which will deal with the different sensor network also and gateway to produce or feed the information to the cloud, and just you can visualize uh, as a hand-on practice. So this is the complete one from my side. If you have any queries or any doubts, so you can just ask me.
Thank you, sir. It was a very wonderful session. I have some few questions for you. That if students want to proceed with these IoT applications in the power electronics, especially, okay,
Yeah.
how they can proceed or where they will get this information related? Because I have searched a lot in the internet also.
Yeah. No,
Application
I have seen
in
recently
very
some
less.
information related to the power electronics mode also, because some Japanese researchers have done a good job on the basis of which they can just program and change the programming of the logic gates. Okay, first is the logic gates, another is the power converters like MOSFET, IGBT and other components. They can directly change their programming to make it suitable for the another task. Okay, so some papers I found that, and I think you will get the information also. So IoT, they have done it as a power electronics 2.0. Okay, you will just type on Google power electronics 2.0 IoT application in power electronics. Okay, so one paper you will just find out, isn't it? Power electronics 2.0. So there very interesting information is given over there, that how can the directly you can uh, change the program or the codings of pulse width of the gate, means their particular switches, means MOSFET or IGBT and the power drives circuit, you can directly encode or decode those as per our specific use. So that was the interesting aspect I have taken over there. So you can find out it. Power Electronics 2.0. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There are many academicians here. Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose they want to develop a IoT-based laboratory for their campus. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any suggestions related to the hardware and software required?
Yeah, because IoT platforms are, you can say, the software platforms already provided by the Amazon Web Services, like MATLAB is also provided, ThinkSpeak, or other Azure. Microsoft is providing Azure, but the Azure and other are, you can say, the on the basis of payment mode, but some of the softwares are freely available and directly you can utilize for the your web service, isn't it? Only thing is that you'll have to develop the sensor node, sensor network, and the cloud system. So interfacing you can do in your campus also by choosing up any, you can give the work to your students also by, okay, use the Raspberry Pi, because Raspberry Pi having the different sensors, or you can say the multiple sensors you can utilize. Instead of one or two, you can use the around 10 sensors at a time also. So you can use the Raspberry Pi with the multiple sensors, and with the help of this you can just transmit the diode, because the Wi-Fi module is inbuilt over there. Okay, so it is directly connected with your nearby network and send the information directly to the ThinkSpeak or any other cloud. So the monitoring of any street light in campus also, the temperature or other information, they can directly have it and have a small model also. In laboratory also you can just develop. I think you have in this particular SS short-term training program, industry peoples have also come up. So they will also deal the very basic concept over there, that okay, this is their product only. But for the student version or the low-cost version, we can go for the Arduino based, or we can go for the Raspberry Pi based. So that is, I think that is a, for the initial level, that would be sufficient for us.
Okay, sir. That's a very nice information you have shared. One more question related to the computing facility. Suppose I have a sensors at my end, and if I uploaded the data on the cloud, okay.
Yeah.
So is there any programming from the clouds are available to do the computing? Suppose we are dealing with the power systems. We have recorded the voltage and currents at the various
Yeah,
buses and communicated to the cloud, and
yeah.
whether the cloud is going to able to give you the real-time power flow and such things
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
already
yeah, yeah.
programming are available.
They are providing the real time power flow also, because initially what happens that some lag is there for 0.2 0.5 seconds also, but at the real time moment they can store it data, and there are some facility of RT registered logo, and they provide the real time data and operation and control. Okay, otherwise like we are using this Raspberry Pi or other modules, but they are not providing as real time. They will transmit the real time data, but for the operation and control some robust system is required. Okay, so if you go for the Azure or Microsoft and other AWS team, so there would be some specific option of RT web services. Okay, real time web services. So they will definitely provide. So there is facility for the real time data collection also, and plotting and analysis facilities also provide.
Okay.
And as my suggestion is that if you are working for it, so make a combination, or you can say make a group of three branches, like three people from electrical, two people from electronics, and two people from computer science, and all together you can develop a one proper setup of it. So that I think that would be better.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very nice information you are giving. On the behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, I would like to thank Dr. Suresh Kavre, sir. He has accepted our invitations and delivered such nice session on the IoT and power electronics. Both are combined. So I found that very few people are working applications of the IoT in the power electronics, and one of these is Dr. Suresh Gavre, sir. Thank you, sir, for delivering such a nice session. Hope our collaboration will be continued for the next.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, yes.
Thank you
sir.
for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be here and talking with nice people like you.
Thank you,
And
sir. And one more, sir. Can you share your PPT in the PDF format so that I can share with the participants, because they have to appear the examination.
definitely. I'll share that one also. And I think there may be video recording is also here on.
Yeah, video recording is also there, but we are not putting that video recording on YouTube or other things, just
Okay,
for
okay.
security purpose.
Okay, I'll try to make it PDF and send you. Are the major key points I will send you like that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, and this is my mail ID, and you can just contact me over there also, official mail ID.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.